So I want to just take a moment to talk about this painting here. It's called Nature Weeping, and talk about some of the things that inspired me to do it, its place in a series that I've done, and also kind of the techniques I've used and that you may not be able to really appreciate until you see it in person. So if you're buying online, I'll try to show those to you in a way that makes you see what I'm talking about. First of all, Nature Weeping. I always love nature. You see that in my work. I'm consistently geared towards nature. I'm surrounded by nature here in the Pacific Northwest with the mountains and farmlands and lakes, rivers, and so you'll see a lot of that in my work, but I wanted to go a little abstract in this series. So this was the first one I did in a series. The nature series, it'll have a section that's abstract, and then it'll have more of a realistic interpretation of plants in the top area. So this one is, I wanted to be kind of dark in certain ways because I used a drip technique on this with acrylic, and this whole painting actually is acrylic, which is unusual if I'm doing detail work. Usually I'll use oil and acrylic because the oils allow you more time and more control over color. But this one is all acrylic because the colors I used on the top area were pretty consistent, so I was able to do that with this. And if you look at this, all the colors here, the drippy colors, they're all overlapping each other. They have interesting breaks in the color that go all the way to the bottom. And when I was doing this, I was laying the foreground. I had outlined what I wanted to do. I did a sketch of it. So I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know kind of the color darkness I wanted. But when I looked at this, I thought, oh, it looks like tears to me. And so Nature Weeping is what I came up with for a title. And so that made me want to do darker up top because then it would be more of a sad kind of painting. So there's texture up here with the leaves, and that's all done with just the acrylic paint. Normally I'll do a medium, but with the acrylic paint it made enough of a texture on the edges of the leaves. When you get closer, they're almost black leaves. They're just a touch of dark green on them, and they're consistent color on the sides, but as you gradually go into this area of the painting, they get more color, more detail, and a little lighter. So it's almost as if a light is shining just on this area here. So you'll see some veining in the leaves. And this branch itself, it's kind of, gnarly looking. And in the branch, I used gold acrylic paint. And so when a light shines on it as you move about looking at this painting, you'll see the branch will change colors because of that gold paint I used on that. So in person, you'll get that effect. On a print, you'll still maintain the gold color, but you won't get the reflective qualities of that. But the print turned out really good. I did a couple of them, and I'm pleased with them. So it doesn't have a lot of texture, so print really does a good job on this particular painting. Because it's not going to affect the outcome I wanted the viewer to have. So as far as the future works I'll show you in the nature series, they're lighter. They have more bold colors because after I did this kind of dark one, I wanted to go the opposite. I wanted to do bright. So you'll see that when you see the other works in the nature series. But Nature Weeping, it's a kind of a fan favorite. Several people really love this. I think they like the fact that it has more muted colors. It would go in pretty much any room because I have so many different colors here in the bottom. So you could just pick up one of those colors in your room and use that as an accent if you wanted to highlight a painting. So I hope you enjoyed Nature's Weeping.